Today I'm going to talk about Greyspace, the sphere that contains the world of Greyhawk. Alright, so it goes into some detail about the world. Now, I forgot to mention what the stars are in realm space. In realm space, the stars are gigantic words in some strange language, and where the marks, like the dot of an eye would be, are tunnels that lead to portals to the plane of radiance, or the demi-plane of radiance. And those words are actually like scrolls, and if you read the spell, it casts that spell on everybody in the entire sphere. And then, of course, that star would disappear. And there's also a line of people that spin halfway around the sphere, walking shoulder to shoulder around the sphere, chanting. Now, in Greyspace, the stars are these gigantic gems that give off light. And so the center of Greyspace is Earth, or O-Earth, as many people pronounce it. This is the planet on which Greyhawk is. So the O-Earth is in the center of the solar system, which, if we'd started here, would have really confused one of my players who was big into astronomy that the Earth actually was the center. So it goes into some detail about some of the groundling nations on O-Earth that know about spelljamming. And the next planet out is Cool, or Selene, or the Handmaiden. It's a size B world, which is smaller than Mercury, so it's just a moon, and it's got mind flayers and drow and kowtow. It says humans and humanoids here, but there's no air on the surface. All these creatures live underground. The surface has a texture of coal, it says. So it's a void world with no atmosphere. Okay, so the next world out is Renee, Luna. This is an Earth body which is about the size of Mercury, and it has no native life. There are settlers from other planets, but no native life at all. Or no native sentient life. It's got life. It's got plants and non-sentient animals, but no sentient life. Well, that doesn't necessarily have to be a Spelljammer picture. That could be just a piracy picture, you know. Okay, so the next world out is Liga, or the Sun. It's a size G world, which is about the size of our sun. And it's inhabited by various fire-based creatures and water elementals. There are little dots on it that you can't see from O-Earth, but you can see from space. Little dots of liquid water on it. There are portals to the elemental plane of water, and so there's so much water coming in that it doesn't all evaporate, and so it can form a liquid pool of water on the surface of the sun. So that's weird. The Moth is a spherical body, little planetoid, about 200 miles in diameter, that orbits Liga. It's a world that is blasted away and hot. and so nothing can live there. Anti-Liga, according to the myths, there used to be a second sun. Okay, now the Grinder is an asteroid belt with big asteroids that are, according to this, 10 to 100 miles across. And it's spherical. It's not a belt. It's more like an asteroid cloud, like the Oort cloud. Which, you know, it occurs to me, when this was written, the existence of the Kuiper belt and the Oort cloud were not known in the general public. The scientists were just starting to talk about it. So, okay, so the Grinder's inhabited by various creatures, including spacefarers and the undead. And the different races have bases on it. Now, Edil is a spherical air body, size G. It's about the size of Jupiter. It's got dragons and some other avians and reptiles on it. It also has a bunch of gates, portals to other planes. So there are little bits of other elements. There are spheres of water, spheres of fire, spheres of rock, and of course it's an air world. Okay, so the next one is Nibble, a spherical air body about the size of Jupiter, inhabited by undead. It's got a red color to it. Oh, sorry, the bits of other elements are in this world, not the other air world. This system has a lot of planets. Kolnatha is an elliptical water body inhabited by Shalgan, mermen, and other aquatic creatures. So it tells you, here's a map showing the different territories of the creatures. Okay, the next world is Ginsel, which is like a 3D crescent-shaped Earth body, and its size C, which would make it smaller than Mercury. Size C is 100 to 1,000 miles across. And here's a map of it, which I've colorized. I used this. This is one of the few places my players visited when I was running Spelljammer. I visited the top of one of those points where there was a castle. Okay. So, the next world is Borka, a cluster Earth body with orcs, goblins, and other humanoids. Cluster, that's like an asteroid, not belt, but more like a cluster of asteroids. Yeah, and they're size A, which is less than 10 miles across each. There's a picture of them shooting at some elves. Okay, next world is Grilla. It's a cluster-shaped Earth body about the same size as Earth. So it's a cluster of asteroids, basically, cluster of Earth-sized asteroids. So that's kind of interesting. It's inhabited by mostly humans and elves, but other races, including evil giants and giantkin. There's a nice picture. Okay, the next world is the Spectre, which is a disk Earth body, size B, which is 10 to 100 miles across, and it rotates like a coin being flipped in relation to Earth. So when you're looking at it from Earth, it tends to wink. Because sometimes you're seeing edge on and sometimes you're seeing the face of it. Okay. There's some star-like objects called the sisters that orbit in space. These are just like little quasi-stars that shine with blue light. The Great Sargasso is a place where spelljamming doesn't work, magic doesn't work. It's invisible, so if you run across it, you're in trouble. The habitat's a mysterious structure orbiting in the system. Okay, here's a skeleton driving a ship. There's some dark stars that are black. There's at least 3 of them. They don't give off any light. They have gravity but no air, and any ship that lands on them never returns. And then there's different spelljamming companies: the Peacock Band, the Free Traders, the Free Spirit. There's some adventuring ideas. Yeah, many of the spelljamming rules could easily be adapted for a seaborne navy. And there's some new magic items. And there's a thing on some of the religions in Greyspace. Most of them you might know if you've run Greyhawk. There's some new monsters like the Horde, which lives in the Grinder. That's the asteroid sphere. The Porton lives in the skies of Nibble. And the Sky King, which is in the skies of Edel. So, that's Greyspace, the sphere for Spelljammer that contains the world of Greyhawk.